Hello, this is Angelia with Today's Wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, The Power Within, Energy 101. And we all have energy, and it's important. What do you do with that energy? There is an undercurrent of energy thrumming through the universe. And it is, whether you're a Star Wars fan, you want to call it the Force, you want to call it the universal energy, you want to call it God's energy, it's a thing. Like the wind or a whisper, we can sometimes hear it and often feel it. And now Squire Rushmore talks about God winks. And we had one yesterday, me and my husband. And so, there are times when you can feel the flow of, God's Holy Spirit, His work, His works of heart, His divine providence, if you will, and the universal flow, go with the flow. Most of the time, we sense this energy unconsciously without any tangible proof it is really there. And so it's something that you feel, in your spirit. And I've had such spiritual experiences sometimes where the hair stands up in the back of your neck and you just get the chills and you just feel the spirit moving, that much. Thoughts, emotions, and the life force in all living things are forms of this kind of energy. We all have energy in us. I mean, they have the photographs now where they can take a picture of your aura and all that, and the electrical, they can do scans and look at the electricity in your body and how it's moving. My oldest son, when they were testing his brain, to see how his brain was firing, they did a scan on him and it showed how his brain was firing. And it showed the electricity in his brain, how it was working. So I thought that was pretty cool. So our creativity, growth, and change. So when you're creating, you're expressing your spiritual, ability. You're expressing something from within and bringing it without. And when you are growing as a person, unfortunately some people never grow as a person. But when you're growing as a person, that is a spiritual experience. It's God saying, hey, what you're doing is not working. And it's a problem, It's a problem for you and other folks too. So here's a better way. I'm showing it to you. It's time to grow up a little bit. And change. In your life, there's going to be change. We might not like it. We might like it. But that's one constant is change. The impressions, and we all get impressions from anything. I've been told I'm very intuitive and very discerning. So, I can meet a person or talk to, and I just get the feeling, and I just know, somehow. I met a man in high school, the husband of one of my teachers, and the way he treated her, I knew that was not going to end well. And so I said something to another teacher. I said, he's going to kill her. If this keeps up, he's going to kill her. I can just tell. And, you can't possibly know that. You can't know that. Well, guess what? A few years after we graduated high school, he killed her and their daughter and then killed himself. So, how did I know? I don't know. And the teacher wanted to come back and ask me how I knew. And I didn't want to talk about it because I don't know how I knew. I just felt it. And there are people like that, it's not always a great gift because sometimes you can feel people's intentions towards you, and that's not always a good feeling. Images. Some people have visions, some people have dreams. I have dreams. I had a dream the other night about something, and I was like, oh, that's not good. But it was there. So, vague premonitions. My dad talks about his deja vu. How he knew something, he had a dream about it, and he knew something was going to happen, so he said something different so that bad thing didn't happen. So, a lot of people have deja vu. We get these impressions from people and situations, which are other examples of formless energy. So people can't explain that, but we know it. We don't know how we know, or we don't know how we have a dream and then the dream comes true, or we have deja vu that this happened before, but it happens. When you enter a space and feel an energy, an intangible sensation in the air that gives you a sense of foreboding in your gut. And I've had that too. It's like, nah, I shouldn't be here. I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here. And then something happened. So what you are likely experiencing is energy. And we don't always listen to that. I've had situations where I felt something and I didn't go on that because my feelings got in the way, and I second guessed myself. And so that's not good either. You don't second guess yourself. If you have a feeling, listen to your feeling because it's there for a reason. Energy cannot be destroyed. So even if your body is gone, your soul goes. They've actually measured, when the body dies, the body loses weight. And I forget the exact amount. You can go Google it. They made a movie. But anyway, so something happens. Something leaves when you die. So that has been proven. It's a scientific fact. But it can be transformed or transferred from one person, thing, or source to another. Now, in my faith belief, we go up to heaven to be with God, and we're going to hang out in the waiting room till the end, and, then God's going to sort everybody out. So you might be on the right side of that when the sorting starts happening. Though energy is formless, it does take form and shape in the way it flows and resides within all things. So, a certain type of energy is different from ours. Like an animal's energy is different from ours. The energy that runs through your house is different from ours. Everything is different, but we all hold some form of energy or we wouldn't be moving. It takes some form of energy for there to be movement and flow. A grain of sand, a bird, a stone, and an ocean wave all have energy. Living things radiate complex vibrations, while non-living things' vibrations are simpler. So, if you were to chart that, and I've seen them do it on, I think it was Nova. But anyway, they can chart the energy from like plants and animals and a rock, to see what type of energy they're giving off and how high the vibration is. And of course, if something's just kind of laying there on the ground, it's not going to have the energy that, we do. So, but it still has some. Excuse me. Energy is a magnifier that can attract like energies while repelling disparate ones. And that is why sometimes you just instantly get along with a person. You just instantly like them, you get along with them, and, you stay friends forever. And sometimes why you come up against another person and just right away you're like, they're not really like me, they're not for me. And then people can get upset about that. But in all honesty, there's no reason to get upset about that. If you find someone is not for you, just walk away from them. Just walk away from them. And, spare you all the drama. Many of our reactions to people and circumstances are based on conscious reactions and unconscious reactions to their energies. And, I've met people where they just give off a bad vibe, and then later on you found out that they are a criminal or they did something really bad or whatever, and you're like, wow. One of my sons, had a girlfriend, and he ended up breaking up with her because she was doing things that were illegal and not cool to be doing to someone you supposedly love, and she ended up committing manslaughter. So he dodged a bullet there when he broke up with her and got away from her. So, again, if you have a feeling, listen to your feeling. We may even intuitively tune into the energy of a situation we are facing when making a decision about how to proceed. And sometimes we need a little help, if we're just stuck with like, I don't know what to do. This is going on. I don't know what to do. Because I am trying to be a loving, compassionate person, but now, things have gotten out of hand. What do I do? And if you can't, come up with it and you talk to family and friends, and you don't feel like their suggestions are enough for the situation, I mean, you can go talk to a counselor. You can go talk to a lawyer, and they know the law, and they can guide you along the way on what you need to be doing to build, a case. And then, counselors can help you with the mental health aspect of, whatever's going on with a situation. So sometimes you need to get a little help with situations with people. With careful practice and meditation, we can learn to sense the energy within our other living, things and ourselves. And that's helpful. If you can meditate and sense what's going on in you, and whether, there's a problem in you, because sometimes there is, and whether the problem is not in you, the problem is outside of you, and, you can address things once you are sure where you are in your own inner space. We can also become more attuned to how we are impacted by different kinds of energy. Now, I don't like negative energy. I don't like drama. I don't like those things. Because to me, it's dumb. There's no reason for it. I wouldn't do stuff to other people, so I don't expect them to do stuff to me. But I know there are narcissistic, sociopathic, sad little miserable people who get a thrill out of that sort of thing. And that's a shame, because that speaks to the fact they have no life. They have to make trouble in yours to make themselves feel better. So, that's sad. I feel sorry for them. For instance, beyond being around too many energies can leave one person feeling edgy or excited, while another person will feel tired and drained. Now, we went to an art exhibit. I have a thing in an exhibit this Friday, and me and my husband went, and there were a lot of people, and there was close quarters, and there was a lot of talking and joking and things like that. And so I did start to feel a little overwhelmed, because there were too many people, too much energy, being focused, and, it was a nice experience. It was a nice event, but it was kind of crowded. And so I spent my time there and did what I wanted to do and saw what I wanted to see. There was some pretty cool art there. Went into the little dance party they had for a moment, and enjoyed a little song and everything, and looked at the refreshments, and there wasn't anything. My husband ate a cookie. There was really anything I wanted. But, so, I stayed as long as I felt it was appropriate, and then I left, because I don't like a crush of people. A psychologist told me I was an empath at one point. So I do pick up on people's energies. And so sometimes a lot of people at once and stuff kind of make me like, oh, this is a lot. So I love being around people. I'm a very friendly person. I like to talk to people, and like to have friends and be friends, and but if there's a lot going on and there's too many folks, and there's folks that are not vibing with me, sometimes I just have to excuse myself. While some people feel that energy can be controlled, others see it as the unknowable force that moves through all things. And to a certain extent, your energy can be controlled. You have free will. God gave you this big, wonderful brain, so you choose what to do with it. If you do anything you just feel all of a sudden, that's impulsive. That's an impulse. That's the same thing an animal has when it goes for prey or sees some clover, if it is prey that it wants to eat. That's an impulse. All animals have that. But since we have these big, beautiful brains, we're supposed to be able to think out and reason and use some logic, critical thinking, common sense, and draw on past experience to know that maybe the impulse we have is not the wisest choice. Maybe we need to think things through and do what is the best thing, So energy can be channeled in certain instances. The force that moves through all living things, combined with energy in all things, plays a hand in birth, death, growth, movement, and stillness. Because if you're alive, you were born. And if you were born, someday you're going to die. So, that's just a fact. You might want to get ready for that. And we're supposed to grow as people. Some people call it earth school. Some people, in Christian, Jesus says, not one of you is perfect. You're never going to be, but you're trying to perfect yourselves. So he wants us to walk in his shoes and become more like him. So, if you're doing bad, ignorant, hateful, indecent things, then you're not walking in Jesus' footsteps. Jesus tried to do good, thoughtful, loving, decent things. So that's the way you should be walking. And stillness. Sometimes you have to know just when to be still. Because there's so many people in the world who don't know how to be still. They're not happy with themselves. So they don't like quiet. They don't like to be still. I know a woman like this. And she has to be busy all the time. She has to be involved in something. She can't deal with anything. And admittedly, I was like that, for a while in my 30s and maybe early 40s. Because I didn't want to think about the bad stuff. And of course, that didn't behoove me because it all came back anyway. So, sometimes it's better to learn to be still. There's meditation and take a rest or whatever. Take some still time for yourself to process, what's going on with you, to feel what's going on with you. Practitioners of Aikido believe that all living beings share a common energy source that is our life force. Like I say, if you want to call it the universal energy, the Holy Spirit, the force, whatever you want to call it. It's a part of all of us. Whatever your beliefs, it is worthwhile to explore the roles and energy that they play in your life so that you can understand it more fully. And that is an important thing, I think, is to understand, your own energy, what your deal is, because when you can understand that, then you can relate to others better. So, when we're talking about energy, basically you can just boil that down to, it is the power within. Whether you believe it's a universal energy, an electricity that leaves your body when you pass, a soul that leaves your body when you pass, or, if you don't believe anything, you can still look at that as there is something within you that gives you energy, that made you alive. And that can help you if you listen to it, and that can, cause problems if you don't. So, think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.